Ain't nothing creative about this. So for the shoot, we're shooting with a teleprompter. Teleprompters are great on really long lenses and kind of blah backgrounds. Since we're trying to make this look beautiful as well as get the content delivered properly, we have to kind of find a way to be able to shoot with the type of cinema lenses that we use, but having a teleprompter. The kind of second issue that we have is we're trying to have two cameras. One wide, one close. The individual's supposed to be looking at the camera the whole time. So when we switch between lenses, we don't want it to be person's looking here and then switch and they're not looking at that other camera. So we're trying to kind of figure out how can we get them to look like they're looking at the camera even when we're switching back and forth between lenses. So let's...
See, for me, that's still not as easy as just, because we still have to switch them. Mm-hmm. The question is, do we really lose that much time by having to switch the lens as well?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think the fact that, so like we'll be together on camera, so like you could be in charge of pulling that off and then I'll switch the lens and then it's like, it'll be like those guys in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Switch the tires out real fast.
Okay, so yeah, there's no way we can have both of them go through the teleprompter. Because the only way you could, which won't work, is you take off the cover.
Right.
And it's gonna make it hard for her to read. So it actually does look like she's looking at either camera. And then you could drape a blanket over it.
And we wouldn't have to switch it all, right?
Yes, that would be that one.
Obviously be the easiest way. And then the blanket keeps the light from reflecting like it is right now. Normally there's like a draped part.
Yeah.
Right now I can see the glass in my screen, and then it goes like that.
I mean, the hardest part will be just managing the blanket.
Right. And then we would still do one camera at a time, right?
Yeah, so we just roll on one, roll on two.
Roll on two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we've looked at a bunch of different options here in terms of how we're going to jump between cuts. Basically, we've decided that we want to do two different focal lengths for the cuts between paragraphs. We've decided just to use one camera. Now we're deciding, we have one more lens we want to try, which is this zoom lens. And so this might be the easiest way. So instead of having to switch everything out every time, this zoom doesn't move on the lens. So this might be the best way because we actually don't have to move anything, but we still get that depth change between cuts, which would be nice. I mean, it looks good. I don't know if it looks any different, right?
You can tell there's a lot more bokeh. I mean, that's a lot more out of focus. Which that's always kind of my concern. Like, I know the F4 is going to be great for the interview stuff.
Yeah.
But also it's like...
the background might not look as good.
Yeah. Because the whole idea, the way we designed the set was to be super out of focus. So we built the set pieces to have this really kind of cool lighting. To where it will look great out of focus. That's why it's kind of that deciding factor between do we shoot on a zoom lens, which makes it easier, but then we lose we have a much greater depth of field on those versus if we get a shallower depth of field on our cinema lenses, it makes those set pieces look a whole lot better. They're built for camera. As soon as you focus on the set pieces, you realize that they were built in a week.
I think that's a better option.
Doing the cinema lenses?
Yeah.
Just because it looks...
exchange the lenses, it looks better, and it's pretty fast to change the lenses.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely has a better aesthetic.
It needs to be chosen now, because I was thinking we could test it there today, once we get the lighting set up. Mm-hmm. Problem is we need a light to the lens, so, because they're such different looking lenses, it's like...
Well, and I'd even
lighting.
Be curious, I would imagine that this 85 looks a lot better than the zoom lens at an F4. The only issue was the 35 is really wide, so do we do a crop 35 and then a non-crop 85? Which isn't too hard to do.
I like the wide better than I like the tight. I like that wide look because, I don't know, it's like you can see their hands. We'll have to see where they're sitting. We don't really want to see their like sitting legs.
I know there's kind of like two ways to approach stuff. It's trying to bring just what you need to get the shot done. And so we'll try to preset and test and make sure that we have just what we need. But then there's some things where it's like just always bring all that you have. And grip tools and stingers, also known as extension cords, are one of those things where it's like no matter the size of your shoot, we've learned just bring all the stingers that we have, because it's almost always the one thing that's like, man, I wish I had more stingers. Or man, I wish I had like another one of those grip clips. So that's the only thing that we go excessive on. Okay, so I guess we try to gum up and over. You need to readjust?
Yeah. Let's get out of here first. I can keep going.
Okay. We built the trailer ourselves, and one of the advantages of building it that way is we built it so we could just screw stuff into it. When we were shooting Navigator, same thing, we had built some custom components to carry the unique props. So this works great. We can just screw it into the foundation. We don't have to worry about throwing a strap over and damaging what everybody worked on, and it'll be nice and clean. Luckily, we don't have to go that far, so it's a pretty short travel.
Is that like the...
So we're gonna shoot that way, right? Into the corner.
So we can, or we can also come here and just get as wide as we can so we create distance. So I kind of feel like,
Why do we need to get wide though?
well, more distance
Distance from the person?
from the background.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're
Yeah, versus, I mean, you could come here, but then I feel like we start getting that area.
saying. Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
that
think
makes
it'll be
sense.
better if we set up
Out in here.
probably somewhere right here.
And then like have the subject like very sure what I'm on out here.
Yeah, probably right on this line, have the subject there. I think that could work.
Do you think this light might work? Just for the back?
We're gonna, yeah, I don't know yet. So
My only concern with that is it starts lighting our
yeah,
structures.
let's get the camera set up and then we'll.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we don't want
I think you
The applesauce shot.
Feels good now.